Everybody, Caleb here, and today I've got this Ibanez guitar. It doesn't need a whole lot. This is a one of those favor asks. Somebody from church asked if I could take a look at it because they're having a connection issue when they plug it in. Well, unfortunately, I have already plugged it in and cannot find a connection issue. But I figured while I've got it, I had better take a look at everything else on it. Like, there's a couple of setup things I maybe want to do and just clean it up because that's what I do. So, yeah, we're just going to set this down, do a quick little setup on this thing while I have the strings off it, because I want to take the strings off it to, maybe polish the frets up a little bit. I'm going to look inside just to make sure there's not some wire hanging loose or something silly. But I've plugged this in. It's got both, where is it? Here. It's got both the 1/4 inch and the XLR outputs, and I've used them both at this point, and I haven't noticed any funny noises going on. So, it's got to be something in between the here and coming out. I don't know whether it's a cable issue or what, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that. We'll take a look just to make sure, though, with internal wiring. So yeah, we'll set this down, and we're just going to do a quick little setup. Alright, so I just set this down here. I'm going to go ahead and lower these strings. I'm not going to try and cut these strings or remove them. If I don't have to replace them, I won't. They seem to be pretty good. Alright, we'll pull those pins. Those pins don't want to come out of there. Those pins really don't want to come out of there. That's why we have two kinds of pin pullers. Alright. Okay. So I'm going to reach inside there now. See what I can feel. You can see there's our pickup. That under saddle job. This saddle fits fairly well. I don't feel anything inside that's out of the ordinary. I'll grab my mirror and take a look. It's got a rosewood bridge plate. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's anything going on in here. Not really. So I think most of what we're going to do here is just clean up. These frets are a little grimy, I noticed. They're not unlevel. I didn't notice any high spots or low spots. I've been playing this for a little while. And there's not really any flats. There's maybe starting to work some in, but not really anything terrible. But I am going to polish the frets, clean the board. The boards are looking a little dry. While I've got it, I think we can clean this thing up. I think that's a good call. Man, there's something oily on here. But I think we're just going to polish these frets up. So I'll move this down here so we get some frets. I'm not going to do a leveling, but I do want to see where the board is. If we've got too much neck angle, we can adjust that, or too much relief, not neck angle. If we've got too much relief, we can adjust that. It's looking pretty good. I want to give it a half a turn or just a little snug there, just to do two things. I want to take a little bit out, and I want to make sure that it works. It's right here in the end in the sound hole, and it's really close, so I just need a wrench to do it. Let me go see if I can find a wrench. All right, I found me a wrench that fits. I'm just going to give it a little tighten. See where we're at. That's looking good. Just checking neck straightness. I'm liking it. So I know that this is straight now. I'm not really going to be adjusting anything off of that, but I think it'll just help playability. And we're going to polish this up. These frets. I'm just going to run through my micro polishing pads here. And I am going to clean the board as well, so I'm not putting anything on the board. And we'll start to shine these up. I think already just on that first pad, they're starting to look a little bit better as I take off any of the old dusty dullness. Checking fret ends, making sure they're good. They are still good. This is just one of those things that while it's on my desk, I may as well do. No sense in giving it back in a condition where I know I can do better. And since I've got the time, we'll just do a little bit of sprucing up. And this really doesn't take too long, cleaning up these guitars this way. This is not a really involved process, just a little bit of cleaning. You can see I'm working through these pads pretty quickly. These frets aren't terribly far off, but they're already like way better than they were. I can see so much better shine in them. And that'll feel better underneath your fingers as you're playing. And anytime you do any vibrato, you bend the strings just a little, you can really feel the difference with nice polished frets. It's just so much smoother. Last one. And I think you can see it probably. Like, I've developed quite the shine. There's this light that's right above, right here, that's shining on my, the finish, and I think you can probably see that shine that has developed. I don't think it was nearly that shiny when we got started. And this is one of those things that I think in person you can tell so much better than on camera. Just the difference in color on these things. They were that dull gray, and now they're such a shiny chrome. It's different. All right, looking good. So I'll clean up the board now, and I'll condition it when we're done. I'm gonna get out a new razor blade. We'll clean this board. This is one of those where we got a rosewood or rosewood-like fingerboard and an ebony or ebony-like bridge. I don't really think about it too much, but I noticed they don't match, and it's just something I thought about right now. There are a couple of fingernail grooves in here. I don't know if I'll try and work those out. They're not too deep. I don't know how well you can see them either. You can see them there, kind of. They stand out. But we'll see what we do here. All right. I'm going to show this just a little bit. Now, some of this is because I just polished those frets with no protection on this board. But you can see the color difference between here and here. This is already better than it was. It's just, and it's not terrible. It was never really bad. It's just a little dusty, a little grimy. I want to clean it up. As I'm doing this, you can see I'm working across the board, across the radius. So I'm not working that radius out. That's really important as you do this. Oh yeah, that's looking like a clean board. I'm liking that. Now this last fret, what I usually do is I just kind of work away from the fret. That's pretty good. It's hard to do because the other ones are really easy to actually just kind of work back and forth. This last one, you just kind of have to run it off. And it gets as good as it gets. But that's looking good for that. The next thing we'll do is one of my favorites because it always changes the look so much. We're going to condition the board. We're going to use some of this Be Good wood oil. I always like this part because it makes the boards look so good. This is some good stuff. I really like this. I've been using this. This is the same bottle I've had since I started at home. So this has been, what, almost 2.5 years on this one bottle. So a little bit goes a long ways, and we're maybe halfway through that bottle. Not quite. You shake it up before you use it. Just do a little bead, and I rub it in with my fingers. It's made for like butcher blocks, so it's like food safe, and you don't really have to worry about it too much being whatever's in it, not being good. You have to worry about that a little bit when you get into like boiled linseed oil, especially when you buy boiled linseed oil, because that Japanese dryer is not really good for you. So it's nice to have something that I'm not worried about getting on me, and then something you're constantly being in contact with. And I like the way it turns out on fingerboards. Not to say that I don't like boiled linseed oil, because it has its purposes, and especially on really old instruments, I really like boiled linseed oil. It is the choice for me. But for the average guitar fingerboard, I much prefer the Be Good wood oil. The problem is that I don't think you can get this internationally, or not very easy. I know that it doesn't show up. I've had a couple people from the UK say that they can't really get a hold of it. There's actually two different websites that are on here. It says a product of Green River Woods. www.greenriverwoods.com, I assume. But I actually got this from woodworkingshop.com. That's where I got it. And it's lasted me a long time. And that may not be the biggest bottle. It may be, I can't remember. There's two sizes of bottle. And I can't remember which one I ordered. But it's been a while. All right. I like that board. So we're going to rub off the excess now. And we're going to enjoy... Oop, I hit the camera. We're going to enjoy our nice conditioned fretboard. Yep. I like that. Conditioned and polished. It looks really, really good. I'm going to take this, the side I just used to rub off the excess and rub down the bridge. While I've got this out. Take that out. That'll help bring that bridge back. Now, what I'm going to do next, while I have the strings off of this, is you can probably see all the fingerprints on here. I'm going to go ahead and clean up the top. I'm going to get out the Renaissance wax and do a little bit of work on this top. See if we can't get it looking really good while we got it. So here's the Renaissance wax. Here's a clean cloth. Similar to the Be Good Wood Oil, this is really good stuff. But getting it is not necessarily the easiest. I've not had to reorder this. And I'm really not sure where I would get it from. I think I can find it on Amazon. I'm not totally sure. I know it says right here, made in England. So I'm not sure how hard it's going to be to get some when I need some, because I'm not exactly running low yet, but we're getting there. Because this goes a long way as well, because it does not take much on these guitars. But this is really good stuff for older finishes, new finishes, finishes in general. But you don't want to do a whole section, the whole thing all at once. You want to do it in small sections, because the longer you leave it on, the harder it is to get off. As made evident right now. All right, so we did this this corner first. I'll kind of show this if I can. Yeah, so I think you can kind of see it. The reflection of the light is much sharper here than it is here. And you can see all the fingerprints in this one. And this one is way cleaner, which I think is a huge, huge improvement. I'm really liking that. I'll move this up so we're a little more centered on the camera here in a second. We'll keep going. I usually do these in quarters. Do the top in quarters. I'll do like this section, then I'll do this bottom section. So it takes about four sections to do this whole thing. You want to be working on a clean towel to help buff this wax back off. I keep running into that camera. Alright, we good. Hit this quarter. Alright, before I finally wear my hand out here, because we're coming up on that, my fingers are getting tired. We're gonna do this right here. That last little section on the top. We're grabbing a cloth because that one's pretty saturated. And like I said, you want to be working on a clean cloth. So you got to kind of move the section you're working in too on the cloth to help keep it clean. Alright, I'm liking that way. I'm liking the way that looks. There are a couple of blemishes here in the finish that aren't just not gonna, polish out. There's a couple of spots where something liquid has been on them, and I wouldn't be too surprised if it wasn't some kind of liquid polish that has permanently etched that finish, which it is what it is. You can't fix stuff like that without doing real finish work, and that's not what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to clean it up. But yeah, that's looking really good. Way better. I will go ahead and do the back and sides, but I have kind of gotten into the habit of not doing that on camera, and I'm going to continue that habit because I think it works really well for what we're doing. I'm just noticing, I think it's a glare. Yeah, there's some light that's stretching on here. I can see on the viewfinder, but I can't see it in person. I was worried that it was a scratch that wasn't getting picked up from a certain angle. But what I think it is it's a reflection of something. That's funny. Alright, that's looking really good. The one thing that I did notice on the sides here is at the control area, it's a little sticky. So I'm going to go try to find me some Goo Gone. See what I can do about that. I'll get this thing not to roll over. Like, the controls are a little sticky. So I'm not sure what's going on there. I'll just see if I can't find some Goo Gone and real carefully wipe that down. I know that's going to, if you get too much, it's not going to be good, but we'll see what we can do for that real quick. I'm going to go see what I can find, and we'll try and clean that up. Well, I couldn't find me any Goo Gone, but I did find me some denatured alcohol, which is usually pretty good, and hopefully not too much. Because obviously the best thing I have for taking off sticky nonsense is like lacquer thinner. But that's going to be too much. It's going to take off too much. It's not what we want here. This denatured alcohol usually does a pretty good job as well. But I'm hopefully not going to melt the plastic with it. Like I would the lacquer thinner. This guy's loose. Inside there. I'm broken. See what I can do to reattach that. I'm probably going to have to get some glue out. I think it'll hold well enough. I may actually see if I can't just take this whole thing out and do it that way. Let me take a look, and then we'll see what we're going to do. Alright, well, I took care of it. Kind of. I put some glue on there for plastics, and I just kind of taped it up to hold it. In place while that glue sets. I'll pull that tape off when we're done. we'll let some time for that glue to dry, and then we'll move on. After I get this all cleaned up, I think we're going to go back to setting this thing back up, making sure the string height is really good, and going from there. Alright, so this had plenty of time to set up, and that plastic is reattached there. I've gone ahead and got some more of the sides and the back cleaned up, and I think we're ready to start putting these strings back on. Looking good, I think. Just get this thing strung back up. These pins already have an angle beveled on them, which is really good. That helps push that ball end right up against the bridge plate like it should be. That is if these will go in there. Well, that's because it's in the wrong nut slot, for starters. We'll get the next set. Now I'll just tune this up, and we'll check the action height. Make sure the height at the 12th fret and the nut are good. And more than anything, we should have a nice cleaned up, maybe even a little bit better, because I took a little relief out playing guitar. Alright, we got this up to tune. It really didn't take me that long. I probably could have kept on filming, but here we are. About 95. Totally okay. About 85. That's pretty good. I don't have my really thin picks, but that nut's maybe a hair high, actually. Because typically I'd stick a thinner pick in here, and it would be a little bit more on top of it. Not terribly so, but a little high. It might be okay. I'll go find a thinner pick and then we'll try that again. Just as a good rule of thumb, I can always pull out one of these really thin, really thin picks. I'm realizing you probably couldn't see that, which means I'm probably going to start here. If I'm checking the nut height, I can pull out one of these really thin, really cheap picks that, you know, they give away a lot, and test it. That's just a good rule of thumb. And if it, you know, buzzes against the string or lifts the string, we're doing pretty good. I think this is just, it's okay. It's not bad. I may want to lower one or two of them. I'm not totally sure. The A string and the D string are maybe a hair high, but I don't think it's high enough that I'm going to worry about it. I think I'm going back and forth. I may as well while I'm thinking about it. Just going to take a hair off of this. We want this one, yeah. Perfect. All right, well, I think we're doing good here. What I'm going to do next is actually plug this thing in and play it, I guess. it wasn't a whole lot on this guy, just cleaning him up, making sure we don't have any issues. And I'm going to plug him in again, and we're going to see if we have any sound issues as we go. So I'll get set up to do that, and we'll test it out one last time. Well, I've got my headphones on because I am plugged in here, so I can hear what you can hear while I'm plugged in. And I don't hear anything wrong. I don't notice any issue, but it seems to be playing good. And obviously it plays really good. It feels really good to play. All the way up and down the neck. It feels really good. It plays really good. And now that I'm sitting here with headphones on, all I want to do is play it, so I gotta wrap this thing up. But I hope you watched, I hope you enjoyed this little bit of a video here, just trying to test this thing out, make sure it's working, cleaning it up, polishing the frets, trying to get it as good as I can while it's sitting on my desk. Just a little day's worth of work. I haven't played with any of the controls really, but there are a couple here. There's a phase button, which doesn't seem to cause me any bad sounds. Well, we haven't played with these, I guess. We can... It seems to be fine. It's good to me. But seems to be good. I'll try out the 1/4 inch because we are using the XLR right now. But I think it's good. So I'll call the guy, tell him I don't know what's wrong with it, but it's got to be something. It's probably something cord related, but we'll try that out. So thanks for watching this little video of me just kind of testing this thing out and cleaning it up. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you later.